In this video, the main implications of the GDPR for Australian businesses will be explained by focusing on the differences between the new European legislation and the existing Australian privacy principles. These implications would arise when an Australian business processes any information which relates to an identified or identifiable person in the European Union. Therefore, if an Australian business has an establishment in the EU or offers goods or services there or monitors the behaviours of individuals in the EU online, then the GDPR has applied to these activities from the 25th of May in 2018. The GDPR and the Australian privacy principles share many common requirements and goals, including to implement a privacy by design approach to compliance and to adopt transparent information handling practices alike. However, there are several differences contained within the GDPR that the Australian businesses would be directly affected by. The following regulations would mean relevant businesses must immediately change their previous practices. As seen in the changes for consent requirements, in obtaining consent for data collection under Article 4 of the GDPR, Australian businesses cannot use indecipherable legalese within their ambiguous terms and conditions. It also now be as easy to withdraw consent as it was to originally give it. In addition to this, individuals now have the right to obtain an electronic copy of their collected data free of charge from the business if requested under Article 15. This means Australian businesses would require systems in place to ensure an individual's collected data is able to be produced upon this request. Another regulation Australian businesses must abide by is the right for the individual to request to have their data deleted when it is no longer relevant to its original purpose under Article 17. This is also known as the right to be forgotten. Another individual right under the GDPR is the right to object under Article 21. This impacts Australian businesses by allowing the individual to object having their data processed at any time. This means Australian businesses would have to ensure systems exist within their online collection methods that would allow for this right to operate effectively. Stricter penalties also exist under Article 83. In a case of non-compliance with the provisions discussed in this video, Australian businesses could face penalties up to a €20 million fine or 4% of the business's annual turnover, whichever figure was larger. Although businesses may be forced to alter previous practices and possibly face extra expenses in order to comply with the GDPR, Australian businesses may also see benefits from this change. By communicating with individuals regarding their data and consent, this may enhance the business's reputation and build better, trusted relationships with existing and potential customers. Also, by implementing the technical and organizational measures required by the GDPR, Australian businesses could benefit from greater levels of information governance and cyber resilience, which in turn will help mitigate daily cyber safety threats online.